Check, 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 check. Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome back to another amazing behind the scenes episode of Arts and Learning Kids. I am your bearded host for this afternoon, Mr. Root. And what's a beard, you may ask? Well, that's a very good and easy question. It's simply hair that grows on my face here and here. Now, today is a very special day because it is our last Arts and Learning behind the scenes episode for the year. All right, so we do this live, and Mr. Femi, Mr. Drew, and myself are very excited and happy to bring this to you every week. We have an opportunity to go behind the scenes and dig deeper into whatever the lesson is that day that we're sharing. And we do this every Friday. So I'm really excited. Like, we've had a wonderful time hanging out with everyone behind the scenes. And when we originally recorded the show, that was really exciting for us too. So speaking of on the scene, who is with us right now? Make that happen by letting me know and dropping this information in the chat. So let me know who you are and where you're at. And when you do this, type it and drop it in the chat. Drop, 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 drop. Jiggity, 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 drop it in the chat. Yeah. Now, that's the end of my intro rap. We'll be right back, but then drop it in the chat. Now, let me go ahead and beatbox and get this thing started and check it out. Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Mr. Root, and this is another awesome episode of Arts and Learning Kids. We have an amazing show for you today. We got Miss D, who is a sculptor, and Mr. H, who is a mathematician, and they're both from Baltimore. We're going to be fusing art with math. All you're going to need is a few pieces of paper, a bowl of water, and your imagination. Now let's get it.
What are you working on there? Is that a CD, and what's that wooden part connected to it?
Yeah, this is a drop spindle. So I'm taking this cotton fiber and spinning it into thread.
That's pretty cool.
So I use this cotton thread to crochet the sculptures that I make. The things that we wear or the cotton fabrics that we use start out looking like this and get spun into thread, and then they get woven or knitted into the things we use. So today we're actually going to be taking a sheet of paper, turning it into this pulp, and then building a sculpture with it.
Do you want to build a snowman? Okay, bye. Do you want to build a snowman? I'm just playing. But for real though, do you want to build a sculpture? All you need is some water and paper and just follow the directions that is for you in the regular part of the session. So let's go back and do some more. I will either be playing with a snowman or making some paper, or I might be playing a cool math game with my daughter. But either way, we're going to have a good time. So let's check out and see what they're doing. Check it out.
Hi everyone, it's me again, Mr. H. My pronouns are he and him. I'm a teacher and master counter. I'm excited to start some art with you today, Miss D. The last time we were together, we learned a lot about drawing and counting. I wonder what we'll be up to today. By the way, how are you? And how are you feeling?
Great to see you, Mr. H. And hello to the friends out there watching. I'm Miss D, and my pronouns are she and her. I am a sculptor who is an artist that makes things that are three-dimensional. I'm also an interdisciplinary sculptor, so that means I include a lot of different things in my idea of what art is. I think that art can be also cooking or taking care of someone that you care about, or maybe the ideas that you come up with when you're reading a book. There's lots of different ways that you can be an artist.
That's pretty interesting. I know for me, I've been learning a lot of new things recently too, like teaching online and being able to connect to my students when they're online. So I can definitely relate. Sometimes things aren't perfect, but I've been working on that and learning from the experience.
Yeah, I bet your students are really glad that you're still in their lives. And it must be hard to learn how to be a teacher through video meetings and online assignments.
It's definitely really hard.
Yeah, but I bet they're really glad to see you. I know I really enjoy seeing the kindergartners that I work with through our meetings and through seeing their assignments online. I found other ways of connecting with people. Like I've been making some pretzels and dropping them off in friends' mailboxes. It makes me feel like we're together, even though we can't be.
That sounds really interesting to me. Tell me more about that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a new thing for me. Just something that I've tried in this time that we have at home.
Well, Ms. D, that's a really important act of kindness that you're doing for the people around you.
That's pretty cool. I like it. So I think that's really interesting, Ms. D. Now, what do you think you at home or in your classroom or wherever you are listening to this live session right now? What can you do that's really kind and awesome for people you care about? I know one of the things I like to do and continue to do is call people or send them text messages and check in on them and see how they're doing. During this time of social distancing and all of the many things that are going on in our communities right now in the world, there are a lot of emotions that people are feeling. And by reaching out to my friends and family and letting them know that I appreciate them very much, I contact them and reminisce about really funny times and also challenging times where we accomplish things in the end. And what's very important, I let them know that I love them and that they are my friends. Now, let's get back to see what Mr. H has to say. Check it out. Hold on. And before we go, in the chat.
Like right now, it's so important for us to stay connected with the people around us. And acts of kindness are what keep us connected with each other. Now, friends at home, have you been able to do any acts of kindness for anyone around you?
Today we're going to learn how to turn scrap paper into clay and build together.
Along the way, I think it would be fun if we continue to build our counting skills too.
Absolutely. I use counting in numbers when I make my crochet sculptures. The rhythm of the counting creates the shape that you see.
Very cool. Okay, now let's begin.
All right, everybody. I know you're ready to make these sculptures. So get your bowl of water and a couple of pieces of paper and let's get it. We'll be right back after this break. Now let's see what we can do and what we create. We'll be right back after this break. I mean, well, I guess this is the break because we're behind the scenes. The exclusive. I don't really even know why I did that sinister, diabolical laugh because I don't plan anything sinister right now. We're just having a good time. Just dropping stuff in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what's going on. So, yeah. Now, make sure you get your parents' permission before you start playing with water and paper in the house. So hopefully there is somewhere where you can have like a plate that kind of is like in a bowl shape that you can put paper and scraps of paper into it. And they will be showing you, Mr. H and Miss D will be showing you exactly how to make these sculptures. And they're actually pretty cool. I made them when I was there. I might not be able to make them right now, but I do have these. So I might make some cool stuff with this in between breaks. All right. So if you don't have water or don't want to use water, you can have a pencil and paper, and that will work out just fine because you could always draw things. So let's see what you come up with. And when you do come up with those things, hashtag YAMD kids. And also, if you can, drop a picture of those things in the chat later on. All right. Now let's go back and see what Mr. H and Miss D came up with. All right. Check it out. Check it out.
All right, friends out there, let's get started with our project. So you're going to need sheets of paper, and it is totally fine if you use recycled paper. These are some extra scrap papers that I found around my space. Just make sure you check with an adult so that it isn't something that somebody needs to use. All right, so We're going to get started by tearing up the paper. So go ahead and tear from your paper. Then you're going to tear smaller pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And 5. Ah. There you go.
Jose, it kind of looks like you have more than I do.
Oh, that is interesting. I wonder if we have the same amount.
Yeah.
You know what we could do? We could actually count and double check. So, could you guys count with me? All right, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. I had too many. Let me go ahead and take one out, actually. Let me try that again.
It still looks like more than what I have, though.
Huh. That is really interesting. Let me count that again then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 pieces of paper.
Okay. All right. Let me count again and see what I have.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's an interesting observation that I think we're making right now. I'm noticing that I have 5 and you also have 5, even though they look different because they're kind of organized differently.
That's true. That's true. All right. All right. Well, we're going to need more paper than this.
Yeah. Let's keep going. I think that information is going to be helpful later on, though.
Okay.
All right. Let's make 5 more so that we have 10 altogether.
All right.
Everybody. Now, counting, right? Counting is so much fun. And if you're not counting wet paper, you can count pretty much anything. You can count dry paper, cardboard, crayons, colored pencils, cars, socks, eggs, bread, pancakes, sausage, biscuits, Cheerios, Fruit Loops, cornflakes, candy corn, raisin bread, rocks, teddy bears, onions, turkey wings, socks, snowflakes, t-shirts, anything. Long story short, you can count anything. Fingers, toes, pencils, cookie pieces, Reese's pieces, chess pieces, checker pieces, science pieces, blades of grass, lamb chops, anything. Really, anything. Now, what are you going to count to 10? What item are you going to use in your house that you have 10 of? Go ahead and do that. And drop in the chat the thing that you have counted all the way up to 10. I can count these up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's see what Miss D and Mr. H are doing. Check it out.
Now, do you all remember when we had 5 pieces of paper? They all look different, but we each had the same number of pieces. I wonder if the same is true for other numbers like 10.
Ooh, let's each arrange them in a different way and then check and see if we still have the same.
Friends, you can put your paper in a row, all spread out, or even in a circle. You can bunch them all together or spread them all apart. Let's try it out.
Okay, are you ready?
All right, yeah, let's count together.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So yours are in a circle and mine are in a line, 2 lines, but it's still 10.
Yeah, we both have 10, even though, again, they're organized differently. That's a
true.
really interesting math observation that we're making right now.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to need more paper than this.
All right.
So, friends, we're going to tear up our entire sheet of paper into teeny tiny pieces. It should look like snowflakes or confetti. So these pieces are going to have to get torn into little tiny pieces.
So we should be making them even smaller?
Exactly.
All right.
All right, I see that you have your entire sheet of paper torn up into tiny pieces like confetti or snowflakes.
Exactly.
It's time to add it to our water. So friends at home, you can grab your bowl of water and sprinkle your paper pieces into the water. They're going to start to soak up the water and get kind of mushy. We want to break them up even more now. So use your fingers to tear the paper pieces.
That's kind of fun.
Smaller pieces. Yeah, it's good for those hot summer days, the water activity.
The water's cool. Got all this paper in here. Feels kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of relaxing. I agree. Okay, well, friends at home, you can keep mushing up your papers. It should start to look like oatmeal or like applesauce. So I already made some mush here for us to use for our sculptures. So this, as you can see, the paper has become pulp, which is similar to what paper looks like before it gets pressed into a sheet of paper.
So this is actually going to become our clay.
Exactly.
Huh. That's really interesting. I never knew we could do this with paper.
It really becomes a whole different substance. All right. So now you can use something like a plate or another like a piece of cardboard, something that you can build on top of. So to build, we're going to use this paper pulp that we're calling our paper clay, and you can create different shapes with it.
Boom, 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 digga, boom, digga, boom, digga, boom, digga, boom, digga, boom, digga, boom, 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 digga, 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 boom, boom. Building, building. Oh yeah, we are building with our children. Oh yeah. We're building all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? All types of things. Buildings even. You can also use Legos and pieces of dry paper as well. If you're just tuning in for the first time, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mr. Root, and I'll be navigating you through a behind-the-scenes exclusive look at Arts and Learning Kids live session. Exclusive means that everyone won't be able to see this, but you will have the opportunity to see this from now until December 31st. That's New Year's Eve. And I'm really excited and honored to be able to share and speak with all of you. Now, let me know who all is here. Even if you're not live and you're coming back later, I always come back and check it out. So I'm tagged. So if you do drop something in the chat, I'll check you out and hit you right back. All right. So now let's see who all is here and where you're watching from. You know what I got to do? If you've seen this before, you know what's going to happen. Drop it in the chat. Hey. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're from and where you're at. Use your fingers and then drop it in the chat. If you're on a phone, you could use your thumbs. Let me know where you're at and then drop it in the chat. I'm Mr. Root. I'll be right back until I see you again. Make sure you drop it in the chat. All right, guys. Let's check out and see what else is going on. Check it out.
Created this bowl shape, this dragon shape. this bird and bird nest. You can make whatever comes to your mind. So how you build is you're going to pull out some of this paper pulp, this paper clay from the water, give it a little gentle squeeze.
Okay.
And then you can put it on your board. Okay. Then you can take another piece and squish it onto your paper clay. I'm going to make kind of like a bowl shape. So I have my bottom of the bowl, and I'm going to start building up the sides. So I'm starting to pinch those sides to make them a little bit taller. And then when I get a little bit more of the paper pulp, I'm going to add them onto the sides.
Oh, yeah, your bowl is really coming together. I'm just kind of playing around with it right now.
Thanks, Mr. H. It's looking good. It looks like you've got a couple different shapes that you're creating.
Yeah.
So if you notice that the sides of your bowl or your sculpture are getting a little thin, you can just put another layer of paper pulp on the outside.
I feel like I'm making a mountain range.
That's a great idea. Okay, this is similar to how I made this bowl shape. It looks great. I see how you're getting a little bit of height.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it taller in certain parts and then shorter in certain parts, kind of like a real mountain. This is pretty fun.
So when you're all finished building, your project is going to be pretty wet. So you're going to need to leave your project for about 2 to 3 days and wait until it's completely dry. It should feel like the paper that you started with.
Pretty cool, Misty. Now, as we were doing this, I was trying to think, this actually could be a way for us to create some counters. Now, I know in my classroom, we use counters for counting and doing math problems all the time. Counters help us keep track of what we're.
Hey guys, this made me think of something. I see that Mr. H is giving some ideas about math, and Miss D is really talking about what will happen over time. I think a lot of times it's important that when we're creating things, it might not look exactly how we want it to look immediately, but over time, we can still have a satisfied project that we're all happy about and that we can enjoy. So yesterday, I'm going to give you an example. My son, my daughter, and I, we wanted to make a snowman. And that's kind of why I was joking about, do you want to build a snowman? So we made a snowman, and the snowman is very awesome. I'm not going to lie to you. She's pretty amazing. Well, actually, she's a snow woman, and her name is Esmeralda. You want to check her out? She has on a really cool scarf and a hat. She likes video games. Can you see that? Boop. So at first, it wasn't quite the snow person that I wanted to have, or the ones that my kids wanted to have. My daughter even said, that's not what I thought she would look like, but she's cool. You know, I think sometimes if we have an image that we have in our head and it doesn't look exactly like that, sometimes we can get really frustrated and then give up on what we're doing and start all the way over from scratch. Sometimes you can rebuild or add on to what you already have if it doesn't fit exactly the way you like it. And then it comes something else that could be really cool. I think we should keep that in mind, especially when you come back and look at it over time. So sometimes you could walk away from something and then come back and see how cool it is. And it's cooler than you may thought it was. I mean, it's cooler than you may have thought it was before you walked away. Just something to think about. Now let's get back to see what Mr. H has to say. Check it out.
Counting.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what we could do is we could roll a ball with these. with this paper clay. So if you take a pinch of clay and put it in your hand and then roll it into a ball on your palm. Okay, like this, and then set it on your plate or your board.
All right.
So it can dry.
So that's one counter.
How many do you think we should roll?
I don't know. We've been working with the number 10 a lot, so maybe we should make 10.
Sounds right. I notice it's a lot easier to shape the balls after it's actually when the paper pulp is a little bit more broken up into small pieces. Some of the big paper pieces are a little bit harder to shape.
All right. I have my 10.
You have 10. All right. Great. All right. Hey, do you think we could start practicing counting? I have some counters that I made a few days ago, so they're already dry.
That's a great idea.
All right. So I have them right here. They're pretty wet right now, so you're going to have to push those aside. Friends at home, you could use anything to count with, anything that's a set of 10. Like you could use 10 pieces of paper that you haven't put in your water yet. You could use 10 beans, 10 socks. Yeah, anything that's a set of 10.
Yeah, household item that you could find that you could use 10 of.
All right, so I'll count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right.
All right, everybody, we're making these wonderful shapes. Make sure you come back after this break. Boop, 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 boop. That doesn't sound right. But I'm doing what I can with the beatbox sound. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, hexagons, triangles, circles, squares, shapes of all sizes are everywhere. Most books are in the shape of a rectangle. Envelopes have letters. Envelopes that have letters are rectangles. Cookies are circles most of the time. Stop signs are octagons, which is the shape with 8 sides. If I put my hands together like this, whoop, I've made a triangle. How many cool shapes can you make? How many cool shapes do you see in your house all the time? We are behind the scenes and we'll be right back. And if you got something to say, drop it in the chat. We'll be right back, y'all.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So earlier when we were counting with our pieces of paper, we made some really important math observations. Let's keep practicing our counting and see if we can make those same observations again. Remember, you can use any object to count for now until your counter is dry at least. Now, let's see, we counted 5 earlier and we also counted 10. What's another number we can count up to this time? How should we decide which number we're going to use?
Oh, let's use our counting jar.
Good idea.
So a number from 1 to 10, 8.
8 is a great number to work with. How about we organize our counters in a straight line and then practice our counting with that?
That sounds good.
All right. So I'm going to take all of my counters off, and organizing them in a straight line kind of helps me keep track of which ones I've counted. So it makes it a little bit easier. So let's try it. 1, and you can count with me, guys. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So, all right. So that's 8. What if we arrange ours in a circle? Would it still be 8?
That's a good question. That's what we were noticing with 5 and 10. I wonder if that works with 8 also. All right, let's try that circle then.
All right. Now, circle is round. You know, the circle kind of reminds me of friends all sitting on a rug together.
Yeah, that's right. It reminds me of school and sitting in a circle around the rug. All right, so one of the really important things about counting, Miss D, especially when objects are in a circle like this, we can really keep track of the one that we started with by placing our finger next to it, and then we know that we don't need to count that one again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you notice what happened there?
It's still 8, but it totally looks different. I'm glad we counted.
Yeah, so that's something that we've noticed now with the numbers 5 and 10 and now even 8. I feel like that's a really important rule to remember, is that when you're counting any group of objects, as long as you have the same number of objects and it hasn't changed, then the last number you count and the last number you say is the number of objects that you have, whether they're in a circle or in a line or scattered all over the place. That's a pretty interesting observation we just made.
There's so many different ways we can count to 8. So today we learned how to take a sheet of paper, turn it into paper pulp, and then create sculptures using the paper clay. And then we made counters to use for math.
Yeah, and as we were making those counters and using the counters to practice our counting, we made some really important observations about numbers and how the amount that you have is going to depend on how many you counted, and the last number that you say is the number that you have total. So one interesting idea for you friends at home is that when you're using your counters to set them up and organize them and practice your counting, try and create a story about them. Maybe turn them into characters and imagine those characters interacting with each other. Like, for instance, what I'm looking at right now as my counters are organized on my cardboard here, I'm kind of thinking of like a flock of birds flying in the sky.
That's true. You know, I kind of made mine into a line here, and it reminds me of a line of cars on the road.
Pretty cool. And that's a really important reminder for you friends at home, is that math and numbers and counting is all around us. You can look out your window and count cars in the street. You can count birds in the sky, how many trees are on your block. Really get creative and try and practice your counting by looking for numbers and things to count all around you.
That's a great idea. I can't wait to see what you make at home using your paper clay. It would be really interesting to share what you make with other children and see what other children have made with their paper clay. So go ahead, take a picture and post it at #YAMDkids so that you can share your work.
Happy counting.
Everybody, that was amazing, right? Make sure you come check us out next time. All right. And until then, make sure you check out www.yamd.org/kids with your parents' permission. And before we go, I want you all to know you are important, you are valuable, and your thoughts and ideas matter. Peace. Whoa, that was amazing, everybody. I do have to stress again that you are important, you are valuable, and your thoughts and ideas most certainly matter. Now, I really appreciated everything that's been taking place since these arts and learning behind the scenes episodes have started. Shout out and much love to Shannon Klein, who is the behind the scenes hooker, upper, making everything happen. And right now, I don't want to forget, but my daughter had mentioned that when we were making shapes, you could also make shapes like this, and you can make a circle. So I wanted to make sure that I got that in there because she was going to keep telling me until I said it. So I want to make sure that everybody knows you can make a circle with your fingers like this, and that your eyes are ovals, and that your eyebrows, when you put them together, they kind of look like this. All right. So I want you to know that it's really important to keep this thing going. Make sure that you check out www.yamd.org. Find out information about the virtual classes, the virtual lessons that many artists like myself, Mr. Fish, and Mr. Drew of Spoo School are doing. We are awesome and very approachable and amazing artists that love connecting with the community and doing work that ties into the curriculum. Like we said, if you are somebody who goes to Baltimore City schools, you have an opportunity to get this information for free, and you could support your schools with grants that will either lower the cost or pay the entire cost. And you can we can come into your classroom virtually or in person, depending on the social distance restrictions and regulations. So if you want more information, contact Nora at yamd.org to learn more. Also, if you have any questions, make sure you drop it in the chat. And your teachers can get recordings of these shows and incorporate them into their virtual lessons. In each show, we include extensions that help teachers use the show to make academic connections that are creative and awesome, that connect directly to their curriculum. And visit yamd.org/remote learning/arts and learning to learn more about these shows, or email Catherine at yamd.org. My name is Mr. Root. It was more than a pleasure to be here with you. Check out this chat, and you can find all the information that I just said, because I know I said a mouthful. Make sure you can check it out with your eyes. Let your fingers do the walking, click it, and then you can meet somebody and do the talking. All right. So I want to let you all know, adult, child, and in between, you are important, you are valuable, and your thoughts and ideas matter. I want you all to have a happy holiday. I know Hanukkah has already been in full swing. Diwali, Box Day after Christmas, Kwanzaa's coming up. Christmas, I thank you all for not just celebrating the holiday spirit in December, but make sure you provide that gift of giving, appreciation, acknowledgement, and growth every day of the year. All right. I'm glad you're here, and I want you all to have a great rest of your day. Be at peace. Peace.